Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be going over Biology 2402, L501, Homework 1, Chapter 13.8, going over the endocrine system. Specifically, we're going to be naming and describing the locations of the major endocrine glands and the hormones they secrete. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from ascending to descending. Pretty much we're starting from the top, and we're going to go all the way down to the bottom and listing out, and this will help you form a picture in your head as to where everything will be. It's easier this way since everything will be in descending order. Starting with the pineal gland, which is going to be located in the middle brain, which is going to be easier to see right here. That right there is going to be your pineal gland, and that's responsible for releasing melatonin. Melatonin is a sleep regulating hormone. It helps your body start getting ready to go to sleep at night, and that's what helps you keep your sleep schedule in check as well. Right below that, at the base of the brain, we're going to have the hypothalamus. It's going to be visible slightly right here. That releases four hormones. It'll be growth hormone releasing, thyrotropin releasing, gonadotropin releasing, and corticotropin releasing. GHRH, which regulates growth hormone release from the pituitary gland. So pretty much the hypothalamus controls some of the things that the pituitary gland does. As far as regulating these things and how much it'll release, it'll tell it when to start and when to stop releasing these things. So the hypothalamus is kind of like the organ that connects the endocrine system to the nervous system. It, like I said earlier, it tells the pituitary gland when to stop or when to start and stop making hormones. It'll be really small, but you can see it right in here. And then just below that, we're going to be having the pituitary gland. Right here, there's this little bean shape. It's going to be right here. This right here is going to be the pituitary gland. This releases quite a few hormones. This is going to be responsible for releasing antidiuretic, ACT, HGH, LH, FSH, oxytocin, prolactin, TSH. It's a very, very, very important endocrine gland that we have because it's responsible for so many things in the male and female body. Antidiuretic, so this affects the retention of water in the kidneys. It also helps control your blood pressure. A growth hormone, which affects growth and stimulates the protein production and fat distribution. Like we said earlier, luteinizing is follicle stimulating. That also helps control the sex hormones. Oxytocin, that'll be to help women with contractions during pregnancy. So whenever women's in labor, the pituitary gland will start producing oxytocin. And that helps them start producing contractions, or not producing, but stimulating them. And it also stimulates the milk ducts of the breast, and that's where prolactin comes in. It's going to be right here, and that helps women in the breast to initiate and maintain milk production. And then it also has thyroid stimulating, which again kind of how the hypothalamus and pituitary gland go hand in hand. They also go hand in hand with the thyroid gland. It pretty much tells you when to stop producing thyroid hormone. And the thyroid gland is going to be loaded. So we're moving from the top of the head, we're moving inferior to that down into the neck area where we'll have the thyroid. This is responsible for producing thyroid hormone. Thyroid hormone controls quite a few things, just as much as growth hormone does. It also affects growth, maturation, how your nervous system works, and your metabolism. Some people can have overly stimulated thyroid glands, understimulated, and these can lead to like hyperthyroidism and things such as that. On the backside of this, right, not on the backside, I'm sorry, it's also anterior, which is going to be the parathyroid. This is right below the thyroid gland. Also, I forgot to mention where the thyroid gland is. This is going to be right here. This is the thyroid, and then right here is the parathyroid. So the parathyroid pretty much controls the amount of calcium in the blood. If there's too much calcium, there's more calcium released into if there's too much calcium, it cuts the production of calcium into the blood, and if there's too little, it increases the amount released into the bloodstream. So, for the most part, that's really what it does. That's the most important thing. And right below it, right here, that's going to be the thymus, which is responsible for a lot of pretty much human development, and it also helps with development of the lymphoid system. Very important because, as you know, your lymphoid system is responsible for a lot of things as far as immunity and removing waste from the body. And starting to go inferior again, so inferior to that, right in the abdominal region, higher up in the abdominal cavity, we'll have the adrenal cortex right here. These are responsible for producing epinephrine, norepinephrine, so these help with your fight or flight responses. They also produce aldosterone and corticosteroids. So aldosterone will work with your antidiuretic hormone up here and controlling your blood pressure. But this more specifically regulates things such as salt, water balance, and as well, which all impacts your blood pressure, keeping it high, low. If you have high blood pressure, maybe start on something such as a antidiuretic, such as eplerenone, or aldosterone inhibitors, things such as that. And then you have corticosteroid, which is also produced by the adrenal glands, which works with anti-inflammatory, maintains blood sugar, blood pressure. People that have high blood pressure usually have a high amount of stress, which stimulates the release of corticosteroid. And you need to keep your stress low so you don't produce too much of this. Too much corticosteroid can put the body in some stress. And then from there, not inferior, but more medial to the adrenal glands, you're going to have the pancreas. So the pancreas right here, this is responsible for releasing glucagon and insulin. So glucagon plays its part by essentially raises the blood sugar levels. Sorry, I was trying to find an easy way to put it. That's essentially what it does. When your blood sugar levels are low, glucagon helps by raising those blood sugar levels. And then we have insulin right here, which is the opposite of glucagon, so it actually helps lower, blood sugar levels, stimulates the metabolism of glucose. So it works with glucagon, but it also stimulates the metabolism of protein and fat. Of course, you have type 2 diabetes, which your insulin becomes resistant to glucose, and that's one of the things associated with that. And then moving inferior one more time, we'll be covering the last things. We have the testes here and the ovaries over here. The ovaries are going to produce estrogen, progesterone. Estrogen is not listed here, but we'll put that here because it is pretty important. It's extremely important, I should say, because it affects pretty much the whole development of female sexual characteristics and the reproductive system development. It also important for the functioning uterus and breasts, and it also helps protect bone health in women. Progesterone pretty much stimulates the lining of the uterus for fertilization and prepares the breasts for milk production. So these two hormones play a very important role in the female body. Of the testes, which are right here, they're going to be located inferior to all the other endocrine glands, and they pretty much develop and maintain male sexual characteristics and maturation. This gave you some insight as to what they release, what they do, and how they work together.